Scotland taught me so many things. Beautiful place, beautiful people, rich in culture. My favorite thing to do while I was there was just try and learn the Scottish accent. I butcher it, but I don't care. I have fun. What I do when I travel is I try to speak to people in their accent and see if they can catch me out. It's one of my favorite games. Like I'd walk into a store in Edinburgh and I'd just be like, "Good afternoon. I would like to buy a pair of shoes." He'd be like, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Scotland." "Aye, what part?" "Johannesburg." I love it though. I love accents not just because they sound fun and it's an interesting thing to do. I love accents because I'm always impressed by how much power they have over us, over our minds. When someone speaks a certain way, it changes how we feel about that person. For good and for bad. We do it all the time. You see some people in the streets, they speak to you, you think of them a different way. You see world leaders, they speak a certain way, you think of them a different way. Barack Obama, one of the greatest examples of that. Everything about Barack Obama was by far the coolest president that has ever existed. Just everything about the man, That confidence, the smile, the swag. When you notice Barack, I would notice it in the small things. Like when he'd step out of Air Force One. He did it like no other president in the world. Normally presidents step out of their airplane in like a frumpy manner, there's no class or skill, just like come out. But Barack, he wouldn't step out, he'd emerge. He'd emerge like he was stepping out of the plane and into a music video. He'd just do that thing where he'd come out. And then he'd go down the stairs, doing it the only way he could, The way he descended, it almost looked like every time he hit the ground, he was just gonna go into verse 1, Just straight in, just like, "Girl, I wanna take you there, give you my Obamacare." Oh, man. Barack Obama's just too cool. He had the walk, he had the talk. And that was the big thing a lot of people never realized about Barack Obama, is the talk. That's what really gave him the edge. He has a certain way of speaking, a certain voice that commands your attention, makes you feel about him a certain way. It's the accent, the way he speaks. And I don't know how many people realize this, but Nelson Mandela had the same thing. Yeah. See, the thing Barack Obama has in his voice, that is the voice of a first black president. Now, a lot of people didn't notice that because he was the first and last first black president of the United States. So you wouldn't know to compare. I'm lucky in that I've gotten to be, I've gotten to live in the country of two first black presidents, namely Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama. So I know what I'm talking about. They both had that thing. It's just difficult to hear because Nelson Mandela is obviously South African and he was older, but they both had that thing in the voice. When Nelson Mandela would speak, a room would silence. You could feel the energy. "I believe that every person, regardless of the color of their skin, should have equal rights, and they may never be taken again. To those who would seek to oppress, I say to you, never and never again." And the people would lose their minds, and people would feel the chills because he had that thing. Like Nelson Mandela was destined for greatness because of that voice. He could not be a normal man with a voice like that. You can't do normal things with that voice. You are destined for greatness. You can't just be running around in the streets, "And a Kit Kat, please." No. It's so unique. You can't be silly. What are you making, prank phone calls? Who the hell is this? "I'm not telling you." It just doesn't work. I remember when Nelson Mandela was still alive, and he would tell jokes at press conferences and events, and no one would laugh. Because everyone thought a man who had been in jail for 27 years couldn't make a joke. And yet he still did. He still kept what was him. But it was partly because of that voice. He would tell the joke and it would just sound too epic for people to laugh. Everything he did, it'd just be like, knock, knock. He'd be like, let him in, let him in. No. You must say, who's there? He is so right. We've always got to ask, who's there? Who's here? Who are we? Oh my God. It was because of that voice. The first black president voice. And I'll never forget the day I saw a picture of Barack Obama meeting Nelson Mandela for the very first time. It's a beautiful image, and it's of the two men in silhouettes. In Chicago, Nelson Mandela sitting in a chair, Barack Obama leaning over him. And this was way back in the day. This was before Barack Obama was a blip on the presidential radar. He was a junior senator. Not many people knew his name. Back then, he was driving around in his own car, no motorcade, had his aide with him. And that day they heard Nelson Mandela was going to be in Chicago meeting people. Barack Obama wanted to meet him his whole life. And so he rushed over there. And he was the last person Nelson Mandela saw, the last person he saw that day. And I always imagine Nelson Mandela was sitting in the room, and his assistant came over. She was like, Mr. Mandela, I know we said we are done, but unfortunately there's just one person who would like to meet you, sir.
I was like, Zelda, I'm so tired. Can we leave?
No, I know you want to leave, Mr. Mandela, but there's a young man that you really need to meet. His name is Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama. He's American.
Yes, that's correct.
He's going to have a tough time. Where is he?
He's right outside the door.
Okay, show him in. Show Barack in.
Okay, I'll be right back. And she went over to the door. She's like, Mr. Obama, Mr. Mandela will see you now. And Barack walked in. He was super excited to meet his idol. Nelson Mandela was sitting on the chair. He looked over.
Young Barack, how are you?
And Barack was like, oh man, Nelson Mandela, man, this is the craziest day of my life, man. I can't believe this shit right now. I can't believe I'm meeting Nelson Mandela for the first time, man. Oh man, I waited my whole life for this moment. I'm like, I won't be just like you, man. I read your books, man. I saw what you were doing in prison. I was like, I'm gonna be the first black president of America. I'm gonna do the same things you did, man. I'm gonna win those votes, and I'm gonna be the first black president of America. And Nelson Mandela was like,
not with that voice. You will scare the white people.
oh man, Nelson Mandela, this is the greatest day of my life, man. Oh, I don't even understand how man, I just want to know from you, how do I do it? How do I do what you did? How do I become the first black president?
Well, first things first, we need to change that voice. You don't sound like you are going to lead anything.
I don't know what you mean, man. I don't know what you mean.
You are speaking so fast. Slow it down. You are not being chased anymore.
I never thought of it like that, man. I never thought.
Slow down, slow down.
Okay, I guess I do speak fast sometimes. I could
Slower than that.
I could slow it down. I could slow it way down. Is this good?
That's better. Now, you need to make sure you add some bass to your voice.
I don't know why that's an issue.
Imagine if I spoke like this. Do you think people would have voted for me? No, I would still be in jail. Bring some bass.
Okay, I could try to I could try to bring some bass. Is that
lower than that?
I could go lower than that. Is that good?
Lower than that.
Lower, way down. I could keep it here. I can keep it here.
That's better. Now, very important, to be a first black president, your pacing must be powerful. Every word must seem like the last you will ever speak.
Wow, that's powerful, Mr. Mandela. Let me try to speak like that. Does that work?
That's good. Very good.
I can feel it.
Yes, now for the magic touch. To be first black president, you need to have the husk. No more husky. That's it, you are getting it now. That's it. I think you've got it. Now repeat after me. America.
America.
No, the husk. Bring the husk back. America.
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 Yes, I can feel it. Say, this is my country.
This is my country.
Yes, this is my dream.
This is my dream.
Yes, I can feel it. You are going to be the first black president.
I don't know. Do you think we can do it?
Yes, we can.
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 You've got it right. Now go get